OntarioShores Foundation for Mental Health, Tracy Clegg, Foundation CEO, and a brand new member of our group. So Tracy, take it away.
Okay, I press start. This is the most stressful part for me, not the talking part. And I'm already wasting my time. Okay, so thank you for letting me speak about this. I'm super, super thrilled. It's literally my second month on the job, so I'm still on a complex learning journey about Ontario Shores. I've worked in acute care for about 17 years now. I have basically spent almost every single day in some form of emotional distress. And I say that with a huge amount of feeling because I'm learning about complexities and I'm already getting emotional that I didn't even know existed. And Shannon Stewart, who is on this committee, I know has shared a lot of the data and a lot of the complexities with you already. So I'm not going to go into what Ontario Shores does exceptionally well, which is shared data. Instead, I'm going to tell you exactly about the unique need around our eating disorders unit. I was interviewed in my second interview. I went to Ontario Shores, the hospital. I walked into the doors, and I don't know if you've had the opportunity to go to Ontario Shores, because those of you that haven't had a mental health illness perhaps haven't had to go there. But you walk in and there's a feeling, and I use the word feeling, of warmth. And it changed my entire perspective, and it changed for me the stigma. Through that interview process, they were interviewing me and I was interviewing them. And they basically walked me down this beautiful hall, and it looks over the lake and it looks into the inpatient units. And it was overwhelming. I felt this sense of home. And then they took me to the eating disorders unit, and they walked me into the inpatient beds where there's 12 beds and where the kitchen is. And I saw these children, these youth from 12 to 18. And I asked the typical questions, and I'm sure you can hear the emotion in my voice because it's still there. I asked what the average length of stay is, and it's 3 to 6 months. They have 12 beds. So you can imagine what these children are like. And they're coming from all over Ontario, lots of them coming from Durham. They're in the inpatient unit for that length of time. And I walked out of there, and the director, Mark Rice, and I cried. I left there crying. And I basically that day decided that I was going to work at Ontario Shores, and that my change and my life was going to be, I was going to champion for change, and I was going to change the course of mental health. Fast forward to where I'm at today, I learned that we're starting our first ever campaign for Ontario Shores. So this is a big, large hospital as you would see it. It's a baby foundation making hardly any money. Shannon Stewart was the biggest champion for change at this place to date. And I'm going to take it to a whole new level. And they have a doctor there, his name is Dr. Neil Anzai, that they recruited from California, who has a vision and a passion like I've never seen before and I've never felt before. And what I'm asking you to consider today is helping us create a day treatment program that they've just started. So we have an inpatient program now for 12 beds. They're expanding the inpatient program. But what happens is these children, these youth children, I've got a whole bunch of stats in front of me right now, which I can read, but I'll send them to you later because it's all sorts of amazing stuff. Most critically ill patients, they go home after these 3 to 6 months, and the readmission rate is so high. The mortality rate of these children is so high because after they leave, there's nothing. There's no day treatment and there's no outpatient. So what we're doing is we're creating a day treatment program so that there's a continuum of care. And this will be the first in Durham region. So we don't have one right now. If someone leaves, they're basically having to go to South Lake or North York. So you can imagine if there's a child in distress, they're now traveling ultimately an hour to try and get care after having been seen in Ontario Shores, developing relationships with the people in Ontario Shores, and now they're going out of our region. In addition to this will be a $6 million campaign ask that we're starting, which we've never raised money like this ever. We're then going to actually create a partnership with Kinark, which will actually have an ongoing program for support. So this is the first of its kind in Canada, let alone Ontario. This is all because the Ontario Shores had the innovative approach to recruit Dr. Neil Anzai here from Berkeley. So this is a man that has science, complexities, and understanding like nobody has ever had. We actually are going to feature him with an event that I will invite you all to, regardless of the outcome from today, because it's just so incredibly special. And I want you to learn about it. And I want you to understand what Ontario Shores is doing that's so different than the CAMHs of the world and the Lakeridge Health and the acute care centers, because they're all doing fantastic things. But what we're doing is so different, so special. And the people in Durham region need to know that we care about them and there's a place for them right here at home. I'm looking at my time. 27 seconds. So I had a story to read. I'm not going to share it And I'm going to try not to cry, but that's a little bit about why Ontario Shores is so special. And this is not covered by the government. This is all community fundraising, to the point where something else might be sacrificed, because this is so incredibly important. They're going to do this to the sacrifice of potentially another program in 3 years if we don't get community funding. That's my pitch. I'm so grateful for the time tonight, and I'm so grateful for all of you for all of the things that you're doing for the community.